We're with Northwestern track and field coach Mike Heimerman, whose team continues working toward the Southland Conference Championships next month. Last weekend you were at Stephen F. Austin, and you've got more competition upcoming. Mike, talk about where your team is at this point of the season.
We're still in a working phase after Texas relays. That was our one time that we peaked, kind of let the kids have a little off week, I guess, to see where we're at, and we did pretty well. But we went back to work last week in the weight room, and then with a lot of reps outside. That's in all the individual events, be it the sprints, the jumps, the distance, or the throws. And the kids still performed pretty well. One of the big highlights this past weekend at the Skechers meet, SFA Skechers alumni meet, was Justin Walker, and Justin did well in with the 4x1. He ran a leg. I don't think he's ran yet. He ran third leg for us, and I think we might keep him there. Ran a phenomenal leg. Had a great 100-meter, and he didn't. I say 100-meter. He only ran about 90 and coasted in, and he still ran in the 10.3 range. I think 10.35, 10.36. And in the 200, again, he ran about 185, 190 meters. He was quite a bit of distance out in front of everybody. He wasn't showing off or anything, but there's two reasons he shut down. One, he didn't know exactly where the finish line was at, and then two, he doesn't, for some reason, when he's running that fast, he doesn't feel he's running that fast, and he decides to shut it down. But hopefully he'll put it together here soon. But our 4x1 had an extremely good day. It's our fastest time of the year with that quartet. And we had a couple bad handoffs. Otherwise, I think we could have won the event and had the fastest time in the conference. We barely got edged out by Stephen F. Austin by 6/100ths of a second, which is basically a blink of an eye or faster. So it was right there at the end, and we anchored a freshman, which was a good thing. And I think he's found his leg. If we can get one other guy healthy, I think we'll be all right, and we'll get those handoffs smoothed out, and we'll be pretty happy. Brent Giddings had another phenomenal day in the hurdles. I think he was a lot closer to the guy who won because Brent was second, and the time didn't show it. And my sprints coach, Coach Leith, didn't go down and question it when we needed to, but we know the timing people, and we've got them kind of looking at it because we had a huge discrepancy with the time. But Brent had another very solid race, and he had a good 400 hurdles race, which he ran a PR for him, and then he ran a good leg for us on the 4x4. On the women's side, it was another working week in all this, I guess, specialties again. Hurdles, Consuelo Lindsay, I think, ran right at her fastest time again. I think she lowered her minute pace something, 60 seconds in the 400 hurdles. Oh, actually, she didn't run the hurdles. She ran the 400, I'm sorry. That's why she ran pretty decent. Quiana Griffin ran the fastest time for the season this year, and she, I think, ranked second in conference with that time. And she got a little banged up there at the end, precautionary. We just shut her down. Didn't run the 4x4. 4x4 was a little off that day because we had some kids that haven't ran it before, but we didn't finish it, unfortunately. But we're just working with them. In the jumps, we had a couple good days again, or sessions again out of Portia Thomas. She had a really good session on Friday, just happened to be all foot fouls. Some of our best jumps in a while. And then on Saturday, she didn't feel it. It was kind of a gloomy day, and 39 and change again, around almost 40 feet. And we rested a couple of the other jumpers. But high jump for both men and women went pretty well. We changed up some approaches for both jumpers. Quentin Allaire on the men's side, and he went out at his PR. So his first week with a new approach, I thought he did a phenomenal job. And then Maui Burkhadley, she doesn't like being called Mawardi, but Maui, she did the same thing. Coach Wesley Miller changed up both their approaches to help further them along at the end of the season, and they both did very, very well with the new approach, handling. And I think Maui went out at 5.5 or 5.6. I think is what she cleared, which is one or two bars under. I think it's one bar underneath her PR for us. So it was another good day. With the throwers on the women's side, we had a 2-day meet. All three young ladies that made finals on Friday in the Hammer threw a PR, which is a good thing, but I wasn't happy with how we kind of started off. We started off a little bit too slow, and we made finals, and then we started heating it up, but you can't always assume that you're going to make finals. So I was happy with the PRs, but just not how we kind of got there, and I still thought there was a little bit more. And then on Saturday with them and shot in the discus, they were being a little bit prima donnas, I'd like to say. We're just fussing about the weather a little bit too much, about being it cold and gloomy. It just wasn't outdoor track weather. But they still threw pretty decent in the shot. I think we had 2 season bests in the shot, and then in the discus we had a PR. I had Shakimia Johnson, who won the discus, who had a pretty good day, and she had let a couple get away on her. And then Rochelle Bessard was third with 151, 152, and she just didn't have a very good day with it. But some days you feel it, and some days you don't. But it wasn't a bad day. One poor gentleman I did leave out, and it's kind of a mistake by me. In the men's long jump and triple jump, Aaron Williams. He had I think he finished third in the long jump on Friday with 24 mid to high. I don't want to quite quote. I think it's 24.6, 24.7, and he had 2 monster foot fouls. Which a foot foul, you're like, well, how do you really know? But they have just gauge the distance into the pit. He actually probably had 2 of the best jumps he ever had in his life in the long jump, and they were just both monsters. But they were just slight fouls. I guess he doesn't want to be outdone by his twin brother, who was an All-American indoor for us. But he came back in the triple jump. And kind of the same thing. Saturday was just gloomy, and wasn't a lot of comp there for him. I think he won by a couple feet, and he didn't even break 50 feet. And his PR right now is right at 52 feet. So it was kind of just a day where we worked, we made some adjustments, and just to get better for the outdoor meet that's still about a month away.
All right. Your next competitions, certainly the weather will be better, would have to think, and finally get some spring weather to compete in.
Hopefully, this week we'll be down in Lake Charles at McNeese State University, and we're going to change up a few things. We're not going to probably run as many people in as many events this week. We kind of loaded them up this past week, and it was a high volume week. Same thing in the jumps and the throws. With the kids who competed, we might back off and hit one of the specialties, if maybe just 2 for like some of the throwers. But we're going to try to let them. We're not going to back off of the training too much, but we might back off the meet where they can kind of just focus on 1, if 2 disciplines, and then go from there.
All right, and heading toward next month's conference championship, feel like you're on the pace you need to be right now?
We're progressing in the direction we want to. We just got to finalize our relay spots and maybe solidify with an alternate on each one of those for both men and women in the 4x1s and the 4x4s. We're heading in the direction I think we want to go. We're pretty much staying healthy, knock on some wood. That's why we rested, probably 5-6 people this past weekend. And if we can get everybody healthy and everybody on the same page, I feel very confident that we'll both, on the men's and women's side, we'll both be in the top 4 or 5, if not higher, in conference rankings.
All right, and later this month, the last weekend of the month, our only home meet.
The Leon Johnson Invitational will be on April 26th. We're finalizing some of the teams that are coming in. Right now we're between 5 and 6 teams, which is a good enough size meet. We don't need to get it too big. Weather's in the past few years have been beautiful, so hopefully we'll have another great weather day. Track's not even a year old. It'll be a year old the day before, I think, is when we signed off on it last year. So a lot of the kids are excited to get to run at home, which last year we didn't get to. It should be a great meet in the name of the guy that I took over from, a great legend here, Coach Leon Johnson. He'll be out there, probably fussing around everybody, bossing everybody around, but it'll be great. But it should be great weather, good teams, and it should be just a nice day to come out and watch some good track and field.